Have you ever been humiliated, right in front of your family, by someone who didn't even know who you were? What would you do if a waiter poured water on your wife, just because of the color of her skin? Now imagine standing there in shock, holding your daughter's hand, and everyone watching, only for the truth to come out that left the entire restaurant frozen in silence. Because the man they disrespected owned the place. This is not just a story about racism, this is a story about quiet strength, deep dignity, and the kind of kindness that turns hate into healing. It was a warm Sunday afternoon in Charleston, South Carolina. The kind of day where the air is filled with the smell of salt from the sea and the gentle hum of families out enjoying the weekend. Inside Maison Blanc, a popular upscale French-American bistro, soft jazz trickled through the speakers, silverware clinked gently against fine china, and candles flickered on each table. A black family of 4 entered through the front door, dressed neatly, smiles on their faces. Derek Harper, a tall, composed man in his late 40s, held the door open for his wife Alicia and their 2 children, 12-year-old Nia and 6-year-old Micah. They were celebrating something big. Nia had just won her school's statewide science fair. But they had no idea that within minutes, that joy would turn to humiliation, and that something beautiful would rise from the ashes of pain. Derek was quiet, thoughtful, a man who didn't like to make scenes. He believed in hard work, respect, and giving people the benefit of the doubt. What few people in that restaurant knew was that Derek was the silent partner and co-owner of Maison Blanc, having invested in it years ago to support a young French chef with big dreams. He never asked for special treatment, and he certainly never flaunted his success. But that day, someone else made a choice that changed everything. Their waiter, Trevor, was new. Young, pale, slick hair combed back like he was always going to a job interview. And he didn't even look at the family when he walked up. Instead, he turned to the host and said loudly enough for others to hear, "Why are they sitting here? Shouldn't they be, somewhere else?" Alicia stiffened. Derek held his wife's hand under the table. He wanted to keep things peaceful for the kids, but it got worse. Trevor didn't take their order. He dropped menus on the table carelessly, like tossing old mail. He served everyone else with politeness, smiles, jokes, "Sir" and "Ma'am." But when he brought Derek's son a glass of water, he sneered. And then, without a word, he accidentally tipped an entire jug of ice water directly onto Alicia's lap. She gasped. The cold soaked her dress. Micah started crying. Nia looked mortified. Gasps echoed from nearby tables. Trevor just smirked. "Oh," he said dryly, "clumsy me. Maybe y'all are better off somewhere more casual." He turned and walked off. And in that moment, something inside Derek snapped. He stood up slowly, but his voice, ill. "Excuse me, Trevor. Come back." The entire restaurant paused. Trevor turned, looking annoyed. "Is there a problem, sir?" Derek locked eyes with him. "You just poured water on my wife, humiliated my children, because of your own hate. And you did it with a smile." Trevor scoffed. "You people always make things bigger than they are. You people." And that's when Derek said something that made the whole restaurant go silent. "I own this restaurant." Trevor froze. "I hired the head chef. I designed the menu. I built this place from the ground up. You work for me." Murmurs began. Phones came out. Some diners clapped quietly. Trevor went pale. But Derek wasn't finished. "Take off your apron," Derek said, still calm. Trevor didn't move. "You're fired. Leave." And just like that, Trevor dropped the apron on the floor and stormed out, muttering curses. But Derek turned to the rest of the room. And what he said next changed the whole atmosphere. "Today was supposed to be a celebration. My daughter just won a science fair that took months of hard work. We came here to celebrate that, with pride." He looked at Nia, who had tears in her eyes. And no child should have to feel like they're less than anyone else because of how they look. There was silence, then applause, and then something even more unexpected. An older white woman, probably in her 70s, stood up. She walked over to Alicia, gently draped a napkin over her lap, and said, "I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. None of you did." He turned to Nia. "You're brilliant, sweetie. You keep shining. Don't ever let anyone dim your light." Then she hugged Alicia, genuinely without awkwardness. One by one, other diners began approaching. A young Latino couple offered to pay for their meal. A man with a thick New Orleans accent pulled Micah a fresh, dry chair and gave him a lollipop from his pocket. It wasn't just sympathy, it was humanity. Back in the kitchen, the head chef, Pascal, the Frenchman Derek had once believed in, came storming out in his apron. "Monsieur Harper," he cried. "I just heard. That waiter, he is gone, yes? He is gone." Derek nodded. Pascal walked straight to Nia and bent to one knee like she was royalty. "You are the smartest young lady in this room," he said. "And I will make you something off menu. Special. Just for you. With love. From a chef who believes in dreams." Nia beamed. Derek's heart swelled. Out of hate came beauty. Later, after the meal, Derek asked his family to wait outside while he spoke to the staff. He gathered them all in the back. Cooks, dishwashers, hostesses. And he said, "I let someone slip through the cracks. That's on me. But this will never happen again." He raised wages for the staff that week, launched a new internal diversity training program, and he did one more thing. He renamed the dining hall the Alicia Room, in honor of his wife's grace and dignity. A week later, a letter arrived in the restaurant's mailbox. It was handwritten. From Trevor's mother. She had seen the viral video and wanted to apologize. She said she raised her son better than that. But she had failed to show him what kindness really looked like. Then she asked if she could donate to a scholarship fund, in Nia's name. Derek read the letter out loud in the kitchen. And once again the restaurant went quiet, not out of shame this time, but out of healing. Can you imagine that? One moment of hate. One act of cruelty. And yet, it birthed a wave of kindness that no one saw coming. Because hate is loud, but kindness echoes. Derek never raised his voice. He didn't need to. Because strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply stands up. For your family. For justice. For love. And in doing so, it changes everything. If this story moved you, take a moment right now. Hit the like button, subscribe for more powerful stories, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder.